What's going on, Vimeo? Today we're going to do another set of derivatives, this time for inverse trigonometric functions. Now, before we start, let us enumerate the six inverse trigonometric derivatives. There are three groups of inverse trigonometric derivatives. The first is the sine and the arc sine and the arc cosine. They're very similar. The derivative is 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared, but the arc cosine is negative. For arcsecant and arccosecant, it's also very similar. 1 over x square root of x squared minus 1, but the cosecant has a negative. And for arctangent and arccotangent, it's 1 over 1 plus x squared. But in the arccotangent, there's a negative. Just remember for this one, if there's a co, it means it's negative. Co means complementary, so that's why it's negative. So, let's start with question number 1. Question number 1. Y is equals to arc cotangent of x squared. This is not that hard. Again, the formula here, we got negative 1 over 1 plus x squared. So let's apply that. So negative 1 over 1 plus x squared, then we square that. Multiply by the derivative of x squared, which is going to be 2x. And then simplifying, we get negative 2x over 1 plus the 2 here and the 2 here, we can multiply together. 2 times 2 is 4. So x is 4. That is our answer. Question number 2. Y is equals to e to the x arc tangent of e to the x. Now, this is just a product rule situation, so let us find the derivative. Let's find the derivative. So y prime is equals to so this is the e to the x, then arctan e to the x. So what's the derivative of e to the x? Is e to the x, and then derivative of this is going to be 1 over 1 plus ex then squared times the derivative of the inside, which is going to be e of x. So cross multiply here, we get the first one, which should be, let's try this, e to the x arctangent e to the x. We add that by, well, e to the x here, then we multiply by e to the x here, we get e to the 2x over 1 plus, and then we can multiply x and 2 here in order to get e to the 2x. That's our answer. Question 3. Y is equals to square root of 1 minus x squared arc sine of x. Okay, so again, this is just another product rule situation. So let's have this 1 minus x squared, then arc sine of x. And then what's the derivative of this? This is well, 1 minus x squared, square root of that is just the power 1/2. It's the same thing. So the derivative of this is 1/2 times 1 minus x squared to the power of negative 1/2 multiplied by the derivative of the inside 2x. Oh, negative 2x, sorry. So there we go. 2 and 2 cancel. So that's good. So it's going to be negative, and then this is going to be on the bottom and power to 1/2, so it's a square root situation. So 1 minus x squared there, and then on the top is going to be x. So that's going to be the derivative of the first one. Let's erase this one for now. Hold on. So the derivative is negative x over square root of 1 minus x squared. For this one, it's going to be 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. That's just the derivative of that. So we can cross multiply here. Let me delete this one. So let's cross multiply in the situation. So 1 minus x squared times 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. This and that would cancel each other out. So we would get y prime is equals to this, just 1. And then we add by the second one. So this is going to be negative. So negative x over 1 minus x squared, then square root that. and then the arc sign on the top. Rearrange everything, we get 1 minus x arc sine of x over square root of 1 minus x squared. That is our answer. Question 3. Oh, sorry, question 4. Sorry. Hold on a minute. Okay. This is going to be a bit long. Okay. Y is equals to arc sine x. Find y double prime. So we know that the y prime from the formulas earlier is just 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. It's positive because it doesn't have a co in the name. So yeah. So it's the second derivative is going to be derivative of this. Again, this is 1 minus x squared to the power of negative 1 half. Negative because it's on the bottom, 1 half because it's a square root. So there we go. So we just bring this to the bottom, negative 1 half, then 1 minus x squared. To the power of, then we subtract this by 1. Subtract this by 1, we get negative 3 over 2. Multiply by the derivative of the inside. Negative x squared is the only one important here, so the root of that is negative 2x. Negative, negative cancel each other out. 2 and 2 cancel each other out. We get x over 1 minus x squared, the power of 3 over 2. You could have that as the answer, or this could also be your answer. X over square root of 1 minus x squared to cube. That's also an answer. So anyone could be your answer. Question number 5. Arc cosecant y is equals to arc secant x squared. So this is implicit differentiation. We just have to do things normally here. So arc cosecant y, what's the derivative of arc cosecant again? Since it's cosecant, so it's negative 1 over y square root of y squared minus 1. Multiply it by the derivative of y, which is y prime. Chain rule. Equals, similar thing with arc secant, we get 1 over x squared, square root of x to the 4. X squared squared is x to the 4, minus 1. And then we multiply by the derivative of x squared, which is going to be 2x. Now, let's isolate y prime in this time. So 2x over x squared square root of x4 minus 1 all over 1 over y square root of y squared minus 1. Look at this, x and x squared, we can cancel one of the x, so we just we just get 2 here and then x on the bottom. So let's multiply both the numerator and the denominator by this y square root of y squared minus 1. So we can get rid of the complex fraction. We get 2y square root of y squared minus 1 over x square root of x to the 4 minus 1. That's our answer. Question number 6. Y is equals to 1 over arctan x. So it's the reciprocal of arctangent x. So let's rewrite this as arctan of negative 1x. Oop, don't do that, because this notation is very tricky. Maybe what is it? What does it mean? It may be inverse. I don't know. We're using arctangent tools, so we don't do the inverse. So we just do this arctan of x, then to the power negative 1 on the outside. So we don't get confused on what it is. So that's the derivative of that is equals to, well, bring this to the side, negative 1, then arctan x The power of negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Then multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is going to be 1 over 1 plus x squared. So the answer is negative 1 over arctan x squared is going to be the bottom, but let's put this first. 1 actually let's put arctan first. Arctangent, then we can put this squared here. That's fine by me. And then we put something like this so we don't get confused. 1 plus x squared. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our answer. Yeah, that's correct. I was just checking. Number 7. Arc cosine 4x. Y equals arc cosine 4x. The derivative of that is, well, uh, this is just the power, so just bring it to the side. 4 arc cosine, then cubed x, much like normal exponents, normal polynomial stuff. We multiplied by the derivative of arc cosine x, chain rule thing. So we get negative 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. Rearrange this, we get negative 4 arc cosine cubed x over square root of 1 minus x squared. That is the answer. Eight. Oh, I have not seen one of these in a long time. A parametric. X equals t plus t cubed over 3. Y equals arctangent of t. So in order to find the derivative of a parametric, we first need to find dy. What's dy? But dy over dt, whatever the derivative of this is. So this is going to be 1 over 1 plus t squared. Easy enough. Dx over dt is equals to 1 plus, well, we bring the 3 to the front, so 3t squared over 3. 3 cancel out, so that will become just t squared. And then we divide both dy over dt and then dx over dt to get dy over dx equals, and then what is this? Well, this is just on the denominator, this is also on the denominator. So this is just 1 over 1 plus t squared. 1 plus t squared. Let's combine them together in order to get 1 over 1 plus t squared squared. There you go. That's our answer. Question number 9. Y equals arc cosine. Wait, arc cosine? No. Arc sine. Arc sine of x. Is that right? Okay. That's messy. Hold on. Software's a bit slow. Okay. Arc sine of cosine x. So let's try normal way. So arc sine of cosine x, well, what that is, the derivative is going to be 1 over this is another chain rule situation, so 1 minus and then the input cosine squared x, and then multiplied by the derivative. This is just negative sine x. Now this is where it gets tricky. 1 minus cosine squared x, that is absolutely sine squared x. Then this is going to be negative sine x. Now before you remove the square and square here, we first need to learn about the domains of stuff. So this sine squared x, what's the range of it? Well, can this answer be negative? No, because the square of a negative number is also positive, sorry. So a sine squared x can only be positive. So this can only be positive. The square root of a positive number is positive. So the bottom can only be positive. So we need to put absolute values here. Sine x. Then at the top, negative sine x. What's the difference between this and just normal? Well, was different for every time. So for example, sine x is negative here, and then the bottom is always positive, so it's not going to be like negative and then negative, then negative, then positive, positive. No, it's always positive on the bottom, so it's different for every time it happens. But if no one asks about the range of the values, we could say the answer is -1, but be quiet because there's a little bit more complicated things hanging around the surface. But -1 is also a possible answer. Nice. Next. 10 is a similar question. Y is equals to sine of, hold on, this always happens. Sine of arc cosine of x. So we just flip the script on this one. It's arc sine of cosine. Now it's sine of arc cosine. So again, this is another chain rule situation. So y prime is equals to cosine, which is the derivative of this, and then this is the inside of arc cosine x multiplied by the derivative of the inside. Okay, so derivative of the inside is -1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. That is one of the 6 trigonometric derivatives we found earlier. So cosine arc cosine, when this happens, we can assume this is x times -1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is -x over square root of 1 minus x squared. This is the final answer. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.